How's it guys, Davey, FPL, and welcome back to the Deadline with Davey live stream. Let me know if the audio and the video are looking and sounding good, and then we can head straight into this not blank game week, not double game week, single game week 33 Deadline stream, where there might be a few questions about a wildcard situation, about who should you guys bench, about what to do with Bruno Fernandes or Bruno Fernandes, however you guys want to say it. I know that's always a big talking point in the comments, but you guys can post all your thoughts and I'll be letting you know my thoughts on my own team throughout the Deadline stream. In terms of early team news, I'm not super confident, but I don't even know if you guys want early team news. We have 3 fixtures coming up tonight, but they're not the most high octane fixtures. We have Aston Villa playing tonight, which obviously an Ollie Watkins, if we do captain him, that'll be quite exciting. But Wolves, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, Fulham, Leeds, Leicester. I can't think of too much early team news that you guys might need from that. Maybe a James Maddison starting, if you have a Harvey Barnes maybe. Actually pretty good fixture for Leicester, to be honest, but as I said, I don't think there's going to be too much early team news, and I don't think there's going to be any early team news about tomorrow's games, Thursday's games, so we pretty much have what we have in front of us, and now it's our opportunity to make the most out of it. So hope you guys are having a good Tuesday evening. Very kind of interesting streaming schedule. I mean, we had a Friday stream, which was quite chilled. I don't know what a Tuesday stream is. It's kind of halfway through the week for myself. In South Africa, we have a public holiday coming up on Thursday. So pretty excited about that one. And I know if you guys live in Australia, they had a public holiday today, but they're probably sleeping now that I'm kind of doing this video. But if you guys are around the world, hopefully having a chilled week. And as I said, a Tuesday stream is a little bit interesting, but it is what it is, and we'll have to deal with it as we so come. So hopefully you guys are having a good time and are having a good kind of decision-making session in terms of your FPL teams. But you guys can always pop me a comment if you do have any concerns. The poll for today is going to be the captain. No surprise there. 71% of you currently on Erling Haaland. I know in my team selection I had Ollie Watkins as the captain. I've gravitated back to Erling Haaland. I'm a little bit scared of his effective ownership, won't lie to you, but also the fact that Erling Haaland might be the best option this week anyways. Arsenal's defense hasn't looked the same without Saliba, and I think that Man City could actually put a few past them. So I'm going to be going for Haaland captain as of yet. If I do get some courage towards the end of the stream, maybe I'll switch it up. But for now, we'll be going for the Norwegian up front as our captain. But we have 18% saying Ollie Watkins, 9% of you saying Salah, and 2% saying Harry Kane. I don't think there's going to be many kind of, other than these 4, that many kind of varying captains. And I think Erling Haaland will probably have the majority of you with the armband on him come the Game Week 33 deadline. So let me go to the front. Let's say Natural Inspiration saying, how's it guys? AA saying, how's it, maybe Captain Kane or Haaland, please? So we can go over a little bit of a captaincy debate. If you guys have any questions, what I'll say about the captaincy this week is it's always tough to say go against Erling Haaland. And I mentioned this with the projected points and the ultimate guide. If the projected points are telling you that Erling Haaland is the highest scorer in terms of projected points, then that usually tells you that he's probably the best cam to go for. Let's just say that Ollie Watkins was projected to score maybe 2 points more, 1 point more, then it's slightly easier because what it's saying there is that Ollie Watkins is the best option this week, and if you're going against Ollie Watkins, it's because you're probably scared of Erling Haaland, and this week it's not that situation. So if you guys are chasing your mini leagues, if you're chasing the overall ranks, but I would be quite far off what your target is currently, that's the only point I might go for differential captain. And I said this to one of the legends on the Discord server. I said to them, they basically asked me, should they captain Erling Haaland or not? They're 20 points behind their mini league. And my answer to them was, if your team is very different to the person you're chasing or the person you're defending against, then I would just captain Erling Haaland. Then just hope that your differentials in terms of your other positions make up those 20 points. But if you have a very similar team, then I would say that Captaincy is probably one of your resorts to go differential. And then I might consider going for someone other than Erling Haaland. So how you're going to kind of go that is if your team's pretty template, then you can consider the Captaincy as your best option of being differential. But if you have differential options in your midfield, your forward, and your defensive departments, you don't have to go differential on your Captaincy. So hopefully that made sense to you guys. If it didn't, I can repeat it, but we'll adjust that as we go through the deadline stream if more questions come about. So Mark saying bank holiday next Monday in England. So bank holiday as well for us in South Africa as well. So we're getting the Thursday this week. We're getting the Monday next week. So that's actually pretty nice. So if you guys are in the UK, I hope you guys do enjoy that extra long weekend. Okay, and we have some questions. Okay, a lot of people saying the audio and the video sounds good. Thank you, Marius. Thanks for that. Kylo GG saying I've Jota in CISO. Am I saying that right? In CISO and Haaland. Should I keep or get Watkins and Isaac with Haaland? No, you should keep Erling Haaland. And you should probably captain him if you're kind of going. I think that is perfectly fine to go for. But in terms of Watkins and Isaac, I would say Watkins is a transfer that you want for probably this single game week. I'm considering probably taking him out come game week 36, and that's when I'm bringing Isaac in. So I don't think Isaac and Watkins are that essential, whereas I think Erling Haaland is better. Kylo, hopefully I'm saying that question right. You weren't saying you want to get Haaland in, right? Okay, then we have Gary Cooper saying, I'm now 0.1 off Kane and Isaac to Salah. Would you get a different striker? Would you downgrade Kepa? Okay, Gary, let me just postpone that question, that answer for now, because I'll be going through my own schedule that might help you out slightly more. We have had a super chat. Who to bring in, Isaac or Jota for Kane? Thanks, Davey. It depends on your future moves. If your future move is to bring in a Mo Salah and you can get a Mo Salah with the Jota, then you could go for a Jota. But I did see a projected lineup from Liverpool that said that Darwin might play instead of Jota because of the quick turnaround. So just keep that in mind, because just remember that we have Mo Salah. If you assume Salah's going to start most games on the right-hand side, we had Gakpo came off in the 59th minute. I would know that because I owned him on my free hit. So he's had a little bit more of a rest than Jota did, whereas Jota played the full game. So what some people have been saying is that Jota might be rotated, then Darwin will come into that left-hand side slot, then you have Gakpo in the middle, and you have Salah on the right-hand side. But Jota for me is a long-term move, because if he's benched this week, it's a little bit annoying, but then game week 34, he's probably going to start both doubles. So that's fine to kind of look at. But I would prefer Jota versus Isaac. I don't think Isaac's particularly essential, but you want him by game week 36. But if you can afford Salah with both those two options, then I would definitely prefer Jota over Isaac. We then have John saying, hi Dave, I'm looking to make 2 transfers this week, looking either to change 2 out of the 3, Bruno, Tony and Chilwell. I don't have enough funds to easily get Salah. What are the next best options? Okay, if you can't afford Salah, I would try and cover him with Jota. That would probably be for an Ivan Tony. Or what you could do is you could kind of go for both of them. You could go for Bruno to Gakpo and Tony to Jota. But I would probably say that keep Bruno. Can you do Jota to in for Tony, and can you do Trent in for Chilwell? Or what's the funds kind of looking like there, John? I would say that it's fine to get Jota and Trent over Salah, but obviously not super optimal. You could always take out Bruno if you want Salah, but as you've said, you can't really afford him. So the next best options would be Trent and Jota. Ashraf, I'm doing well, thanks. And yourself, sell Darwin for Jota or Watkins? I would just keep Darwin, to be honest. I think you've kind of made your grave, so you might as well just sit in it. That's what I would say. Joel saying, howdy Davey, horrible news. I missed the deadline last week and dropped 60k places. Only silver lining is I still have the free hit. Okay, so would you have used the free hit, Joel? Because if you missed the free hit, then that's a super unlucky opportunity. But that's why you got to have my notifications on, because you would have seen that I went live, and then you would have been reminded. But no, I understand that one. That's very annoying though. When are you going to use your free hit? How would you use it going forward? Okay, you asked me there, Joel. Okay, I would probably use it. If your Game Week 34 team looks okay, which it probably does, I might use it in Game Week 37, 38, because I actually said this to someone at work this week, but if you still have your free hit and your team looks fine for Game Week 34, the opportunity to use it then is to use the Man City asset. So when Man City have a double game week coming up, if they're playing in the Champions League, if they progress to semi-finals, finals, then what you could do is play around that potential rotation and bring in someone like a Mahrez, a Bernardo Silva, a Grealish, a Foden to take that extra punt. So I would say if your team looks fine for 34, I would just postpone it to 37 or 38. Thoughts about Ake? Would he be ready to face West Ham? So Igor, I'll say this for... who can I say this for? I can say this for Ake, I can say this for Bruno, I can say this for Steele, I can say this for Sanchez. Unfortunately, guys, I can't give you injury news. I'm not that good at FPL that I get kind of early team news about players that are playing in 3 days' time. So, unfortunately, I don't know if they're going to be featuring. With Nathan Ake, it's quite tough because apparently Pep Guardiola was quite tight-lipped about Nathan Ake's injury situation. What I can say is I think that he probably will miss West Ham, but then you could get him for Game Week 34's double anyways. But unfortunately, as I've mentioned, I can't give you early team news. I can't say if a certain player is going to start, but I can maybe advise you on certain options. But with Nathan Ake, because of the press conference today and getting no news, it's a little bit tough. Do I transfer Tony out for someone? I 8.5 if I sell him. I don't think it's the biggest necessity to sell Tony. I mean, Chelsea's not the worst fixture in the world recently. But what I would say is you can always downgrade him if you want to afford a Mo Salah, for example. That's probably what I would look at doing, is downgrading Tony to afford Salah in the midfield department. So that's what I'd probably do, Ryan. Werner saying, I'm pretty sure Henry's price will drop tonight. Are you going to do something about it or not? No, I'm gonna probably leave it, Werner. I'll probably just kind of go with what I have. What you're probably suggesting is making the early team news or the early transfers for someone like a Trent. But I'm not going to do that before the Liverpool game. Harry, welcome back, Harry. I reckon it's been about 2 streams since you've last been here. I'm not counting though, don't worry. No, but thank you for becoming, and you've just become a member for 14 months. So we've had the 1-year anniversary. The honeymoon period's over. You're still sticking around. That must mean I'm doing something right. So thank you for becoming a member for 14 months. Harry, cheers to yourself. Gabriel out for Stupana, and that move looks fine, to be honest. I'd probably look at doing that. What are your planned moves? Okay, so let's go over the planned moves. Let's just answer John's question first. If I bring in Trent for Shaw, I'll be 0.7 short if I switch him for Tony. But if I take Robert out, then I have the exact money for Jota as well. What do you think, John? That looks absolutely outstanding. I might actually do that. I think, obviously, you want Trent, but I think Robertson's fine, especially if it allows you to afford Jota. I was abroad last week, so I watched it on my phone, so I wasn't signed in, Harry, you know. Sign in, brother. Get that sign in locked in. So let's go over my future moves, because that will probably give you guys some clarity on maybe even your situation. So the current situation this week is to probably bank a transfer. I'm pretty fine with keeping Bruno Fernandes for like another week. If you guys didn't see, but there was a report that apparently it was purely precautionary as to why he was using that ankle brace. If you guys want to see my wildcard draft with the draft 1 year, I've got a wildcard draft here. If you guys want me to play around with it, adjusted, we can do. But this is the current wildcard that I was looking at. Maybe screenshot right now, or I can just bring it up in the future if you guys want to look at it. But let's go to my own team here. I'm going to reset the draft. And that's going to be, so we got the team on screen right now, which is going to be banking a transfer. You guys can see it. This is with Fantasy Football Fixes extension, not sponsored, just super useful. You guys can go check it out. It's part of the Chrome store. It's an extension if you guys want to add it. So this is going to be my team currently. Starting Bruno Fernandes. Saka will probably come on if Bruno doesn't feature. I don't think he'll come off the bench if he's not going to start. That's my current thinking. So what we'll do is next game week, this is going to be double game week 34. So my current thinking is to play Luke Shaw over Botman. Then what we'll be doing is we'll probably be taking Saka out. So I'm going to sub Saka in right now for Watkins. We then will be taking Harry Kane out, but we won't be taking Harry Kane to Isaac. We'll be taking Harry Kane to Greenwood. Then I'll be using the funds to upgrade Saka. You guys know who it's going to be. It's going to be everyone's favorite Egyptian. It's going to be King Mo Salah. So he's going to come into our squad. And then what I'm currently thinking about doing potentially is then taking Henry to Trent Alexander-Arnold, who I think we can afford. We have 0.1 left in the bank to afford this. So we're actually super tight on funds. Is there someone cheaper than Greenwood? Let me just check that. Because otherwise we might have to move quite early on this. Okay, no. So Greenwood is the cheapest option to go for. So if Henry drops in price, we might be a little bit screwed for this. But this will be from -4 hit. 3 transfers made. It's going to be Henry out for Trent, Saka out for Salah, and then Kane to Greenwood. So we're looking fine. I think the bench options are okay here. I mean, they could end up scoring, they could not, but for the time being, it looks fine. Then what we'll be doing is we'll be saving the changes. Then game week 35 will come about. Let's almost look at our squad. Okay, let's bench Trippier against Arsenal. Then the team still looks fine, I'd say. Keep a decision, maybe. Leeds versus Bournemouth. But the team looks okay for this one. Then come game week 36, we'll be kind of having 2 free transfers. Then we'll be taking Watkins out for Isaac. Let me just adjust the filters there. And then, okay, let's say who we're going to put on. We're going to put Botman on, and we'll bench Trent. But I don't like this bench. This is the only problem about this bench, is that Luke Shaw could get points and Trent could get points. But I guess we're going for the double game week options. And this will be the team then. 1 free transfer used. Then game week 37 will come about. I don't even know what I'm going to do here. The team still looks fine. Maybe take 1 or 2 punts. Game week 38, same situation. So that's why I'm fine with banking a transfer this week, because we could downgrade Kane to Greenwood instead of going for Isaac, and then we could upgrade another department if so be it. But that's my current thinking. What we could also do, I guess, is instead of going for Trent, we could go for Ollie Watkins to Jota as a 1 week punt, then go Isaac next game week. That could also be a situation. It just depends how we're feeling it, you know. And that's why I'm fine with banking a transfer this week and then adjusting as we go on. But if you guys are to use a transfer, if you have 2 free transfers, I can understand the Salah move this week, definitely. So hopefully that made sense. You guys can ask me if it didn't, as I did go through it quite quickly. But if you have any questions, you can just adjust. But the main thinking is banking a transfer this week, getting Salah in with 2 free transfers next week, probably a minus for it to get another Liverpool option, then Isaac in game week 36 for Watkins. Still considering Kane and Saka to Salah and Isaac. I'm considering it, but I would have to have news that Fernandes was out for 2 weeks. Then I would probably just do it. Thanks, Davey. Yeah, I would have used it, just didn't have data. Okay, I do have 2 free transfers in Grealish, Burn, and Ray instead of Shaw, Bruno, and Edison. What would you do? Probably need to use a transfer. Yes, I would definitely use a transfer. I might consider doing. So if you don't have Shaw, Bruno, Edison, do you still have Salah? If you have Salah, then obviously you can make a punt move. But if you don't have Salah, I'd try bring him in this week then with those 2 free transfers. Hi, bro. Played Shaw or Botman? I'd played Shaw because of the high ceiling. He has better attacking stats. Unkid saying, just joined in. Have you made your transfer yet? No, I've made no transfers, and I don't plan to make a transfer this week. For Captaincy, I'm thinking of Haaland, Watkins, or March. Is it worth the punt for the other 2? If you're considering differential, I would go Watkins. There's slight concern about Solly, March, and Matoma because the Brighton manager came out to say today and said that he's going to start. I forgot the name of the player, but he's going to start another attacker. So there've been some concerns because apparently he's a left-footed player that usually starts on the right-hand side. That's obviously Solly March's position, so there has been some concern there. But he could also play as a cam or number 10. So there's some concerns, but I would definitely go Watkins before I go Solly March. Raya or Kepa this week? I probably would go Kepa, especially if you guys don't own Ivan Toney. If you guys do own Ivan Toney, then I would just play Raya. But I would play the odds, whatever situation you guys have. So my current thinking about benching Edison is because I'm pretty sure that Saka will come off my bench. So if Saka comes off my bench, I want Arsenal to score. I want Saka to be involved, and that's why I've made that decision. Mings or Botman? So Aston Villa have Fulham. I would probably say Botman. I trust Fulham to score more than Everton would. Yes, so as Giroud is saying, Bunandoti. Is that Italian? Maybe someone can put the pronunciation in the comments, because that's quite tough. Any Captaincy picks? So yes, Erling Haaland's the safe option. Might even be the best option this week, but I really like Ollie Watkins. And if you guys watch my team selection, I had him in my team selection as my captain, but I've kind of gone off him a bit because I've looked at the Arsenal defensive stats without Saliba, and they look pretty bad. Still Saka and buy Rashford or wait another week. It's a tough one. I might do it. I think because of how bad Spurs have been, I think I might do it this week. Just if you're going to do it next week anyways, just bring it up a week. That's what I'd say. Why Kepa not Edison? I felt both when I have clean sheets, but Edison might have more saves since he might. Werner, that's 100% fine. But as I said, if Saka comes off my bench, I hope that Arsenal score. So I want to play the odds there. And because I don't own Ivan Toney, I hope that maybe Chelsea keep a clean sheet. No worries, Joel. To Grealish / Saka and Kane to Salah and Greenwood. Yes, I would take Saka and Kane to Salah and Greenwood. Yeah, so that, Joel, those moves are good. Are you making any transfers? Tony H, I'm not. I'm probably going to bank your transfer unless you get news over on Twitter that Erling Haaland is out for the long term. Maybe we get something like that, but I doubt it. So let's go and check. I can go check Twitter for you guys. Yeah, I don't see anything, and I don't think you're going to get anything. So I'm not going to check too frequently because I doubt we'll get anything, to be honest. Okay, so short by 0.2 for the 3 transfers that you plan next week. What do you suggest then? What I would suggest is Robertson instead of Trent. That's probably the easiest situation. Or what we could do is, let me go back to the planner. And let's see what we can do if we don't go for Trent. Let's see if maybe we decide to go for Jota, because that could be a situation we go for. Let me just wait for it to load. Apologies that it's a bit laggy, but usually it does this. Okay, so let's go to Gameweek 30. Okay, wait, no, let's draft 2. Draft 1 is the wild card. So here, let's reset the game week. Okay, so what were we saying? Okay, so Salah in for Saka, Kane out for Greenwood. And then what we will have is we have 3.1 in the bank. So what we could do is we could go for Robertson instead of Henry. Let me just make some subs here so that the team looks a bit more of a representation. So what we could do now is we've got a decision to make. We could go for Jota or we could go for Trent. So let's just say that against West Ham tomorrow, Jota's benched. I think that I would be quite tempted to go for Jota instead of Watkins. Okay, wait. You have to search Diego first. Okay, so I've got 1.8 left in the bank then. I'm fine with this team. So this is basically if I think that Jota scores more points than Trent, because then what would happen is I can roll with this into next week and then just see what happens there. Because then we've taken a -4 hit. Next week, we can just kind of roll a transfer on if so be it. And then let's just say that we don't like Jota against Leicester or something like that, we could make the switch to Isaac. Or do we have enough money? So we don't have enough money. So what we'll have to do then is we'll have to make the Isaac switch. So we'll have to go from Jota to Isaac. And this, I mean, I guess we were benching Trent anyways if we looked at our team selection. So then what we'll end up having is we'll have Isaac in the forward department. The team looks pretty much the same. We just now don't have Trent on our bench. We could have enough funds to get Trent if we want to, but I can't see myself doing that. Let's just see the Liverpool fixtures, view information. Gameweek 37, Aston Villa, I mean, that's not a defensive fixture anyways. Then they have Southampton, which, I mean, that's a pretty good game to be honest. But Gameweek 37, we could roll into this game week, see how the team is setting up, maybe take 1 or 2 punts here. We can just adjust to what we currently have in front of us. Maybe we could take a Henry to someone like a Diaz if we want to, but defensively not that great. We can just see what we want to do. So if you guys can't afford a Trent, it might not even be the worst situation, because you could instead just go for a Jota and then roll with what you have, which might actually be the play I go for anyways, even though I can afford a Trent. Maybe not by the deadline though, because of the price changes. Maybe we just go for Jota instead. It's all up in the air, and I currently think that I might favor the attack of Liverpool than the defense, because the defense isn't that strong. That's why this week I'm fine with banking a transfer, because it opens up so many opportunities next week. 3 differential picks for this week. I would go Maddison against Leeds. Let's check the fixtures. So Maddison, I think this is a great fixture for Leicester. I would say, I mean, because the Brighton manager came out and said that Brighton attack is going to start. Let me just bring him up in terms of the transfer so I don't butcher his name anymore. But I guess because he said that he's going to start, he's a nailed option. So it's this player here. I just don't want to butcher this name anymore. But yeah, it's this player. I mean, he's playing guaranteed. He could be a great asset. He hasn't done that well. I mean, the most he's played is 17 minutes, but you know, who kind of knows? If you want a differential, it's probably the biggest differential to go for. And then in terms of, I think is Dom Solanke still a differential? I think he's a fine player here, but this game might be quite close. Otherwise, you could look at a Newcastle asset like an Isaac, or you could look at whoever else is going to start in that forward department, a Joelinton, that sort of thing. They could be assets to go for. They find selections. Otherwise, the Crystal Palace assets, Eze and Olise, now that everyone's taken them out of their free hits, they could also be nice differentials coming up in that first fixture. You think Bruno starts? I don't think he starts, but I think he either starts or he is not in the squad. I think if he's fit enough to start, then he'll start. Otherwise, I don't see him coming off the bench, and that's why Saka will just come off for me. On a wild card with goalkeeper, Edison, Iverson, Trent, Estupinan, Trippier, Shaw, Salah, Mitoma, March, Rashford, Grealish, Ford Apartment, Jota. What do you think on this? Any changes? I like that team, to be honest. It looks fine. It looks fine to me. You're selecting most of the options. You're taking 1 or 2 punts there. I think that's a fine wild card to go for. You are getting Salah, you are getting Jota, you are getting Trent. That's the triple up I would potentially look at if you don't want to go Robertson. So that's fine. Buna Note. Buna Note. Is that how you say it? That's thanks, Giroud. Buna Note. You say with a bit of an accent. Or am I making it even worse then? 4.5 million. If he covers the false 9, he's out of position. That could even be better. So, Buna Note could be a selection. Kurt saying start Chilwell or Henry. That's actually a tough one. But definitely Chilwell. Actually, it's not a tough one. Sorry, I thought that Henry. I'm thinking about Henry next week when he's Nottingham Forest. Definitely Chilwell, Kurt. Haaland or Salah for captain. Also, what transfer are you thinking finally banking? Yash, I'm banking this week. Salah, Haaland, it's a classic debate of differential or safe option because definitely Haaland's the safer option. Salah's more of a punt. What do you think about taking a punt on Foden? Yiki, I don't like Foden that much. Or Vicky, sorry. What do you think? I just think that Foden, I want to see him play more football after his injury. I think that if you're going to be taking a punt, just go for Jack Grealish. Would you consider captaining Watkins if you had points to catch up in your mini leagues? 50 points. Yes, 50 points is quite large. I definitely consider Watkins then. If you guys do have smaller metrics to catch up on or smaller points margins, then if your team is different than your rival, you can just stick your captaincy on Haaland. Start Raya or Kepa. I'd start Kepa, especially if you don't own Ivan Toney. If you guys do own Ivan Toney, I'd start Raya because chances are you don't own any Chelsea attackers. Kane out for Isaac, not this week. The only way I would take it out AQ is if you're going to get Salah in this week. Then I'm fine with doing that switch. But I think that transfer can wait a week. Best 1 week punt as on a wildcard next week to replace Saka or Ben White. Maxed out on Brighton already. Okay, so if you already have Brighton, I might go for Maddison instead of Saka. Let me just check something because I saw that Sam Martin said something about... okay. Okay, yeah, so it seems like Maddison should be fine, but obviously there might be a slight risk there, but I would probably go as a 1 week punt then. I don't think I would go for the Maddison captain Kagiso. I think that might be a bit too differential. But I guess if your heart's telling you that and your gut's telling you that, then I might do it. Okay, I'm just kind of checking some selection news here. These are just projected lineups, and as mentioned, it seems like maybe Darwin comes in for Gakpo or Jota. We'll just see how it kind of goes out, but it looks like Salah might be fine. And then obviously the injury to Konate. If you guys do own Konate, it seems like he's an injury doubt. Otherwise, the Man City lineup, quite an interesting selection here. Haaland and Grealish both start though. And if you guys do have a Stones, Diaz, Laporte, Edison, they should be secure, but as I mentioned, those are purely predictions and nothing is concrete. Thoughts on switching Bruno back for Rashford? Kuran, I mean, that's a move that's fine this week because I don't exactly know if Bruno Fernandes is going to start. But Bruno to Rashford in my mind makes sense because you bring in a player that plays this week and also a player that might play both the doubles. So that's fine in my opinion. Captain Matoma, this news about the... Buna Note starting has put a little bit of speculation in my eyes, so I don't know if I would go for a captaincy on those Brighton assets, but I definitely would play both of them. Brother, would you play MacArthur or Martinelli? Mr. Someone, definitely Martinelli. If you're talking about the MacArthur I'm thinking about, then definitely Martinelli. Are you talking about McAllister or MacArthur? Because MacArthur's a Crystal Palace midfielder for 4.8 million that hasn't started... Okay, he started in Gameweek 30, but he played 10 minutes. So are you talking about McAllister? Because then I can answer that question probably a bit better. Chilwell to Stupinan to free up funds for Salah and Jota next week. That move looks fine in my opinion. I think that you bring in a player that has a double, so you might as well just do it this week. But just remember that Ben Shaw is quite an attacking option, and Brentford haven't kept a clean sheet in quite a while, I think. So if Chilwell does get an assist or a goal, you might be looking at that move as being quite bad. But I guess Nottingham Forest could also not score against Brighton. But I just think that this week that might not be the move to go for. But if you do have 2 free transfers, I would probably make it. Raya or Kepa, whom to start? So if you own Ivan Toney, you start Raya. If you don't, I would still go with Kepa. It's a home fixture for them, and I do trust Chelsea's defense more than Brentford's. No worries, Cole. I don't 100% remember answering a question, but I mean, if I did, you're welcome. Thanks for just dropping by. Maybe just saying thanks for the sake of it. Let me just check the last 6 game weeks from Chelsea's point of view. I didn't include this in the ultimate guide this week, so I'm a little bit blurry on the stats. So I'll be going over to the Opta Stats sandbox on Fix. Let's go in terms of the last 6 game weeks. I think it was 35, if I remember correctly. Yeah, so game week 35. Okay, Chelsea played 8 games. Let's go per game, and let's check at their defending. Expected or XG conceded. So Chelsea in the last 6 game weeks at a minimum. However, they have played 8 games. They are 4th best for XG conceded, whereas Brentford are kind of mid-table. So I still trust Chelsea a little bit more. If we go to XG though. Okay, Chelsea and Brentford are pretty similar in terms of XG. They actually are bang on the same. So if we take those 2 numbers, let's merge them, then we get a better average for Chelsea, so let's just go with them rather. So that's why I think Kepa's, from a stats point of view, is a little bit more better. But as I mentioned, I'd probably play the odds because it's quite close between them. So if you own a Toney, I would go with Kepa. I mean, I would go with Raya, but if you don't own a Toney, I would go with Kepa. I'm sorry, McAllister for Brighton. So I would go with McAllister, Mr. Someone. He has a better fixture. Chelsea, I mean, Man City have one of the best. Let me check. Over the last 6, how's their XG? Yeah, Man City are the best defense in the Prem at the moment, even though as an Edison owner, I'm very annoyed because they concede 1 chance. But I would go with Brighton rather. Brighton's attacking shots are pretty strong. How's it, Andy? Probably going to bank this week. Don't fancy the -4 for any saying hi. And good luck. Thanks, Andy. Thanks for dropping by, brother. Always love it when guys just come in and they're like, we don't have any questions to ask, just want to say hi and good luck. So thanks, Andy. Hopefully your game week is going to be a good one. Emmanuel's saying, I need to get rid of Ake. Help me, Davey. Okay, so if you need to get rid of Ake, there's 2 choices to go for. You can go for a Brighton asset. If you don't own a Stupinan, don't own a Brighton triple up, go for a Stupinan. Or what you could do is you can maybe upgrade them to someone like a Trent, someone like a Robertson, Van Dijk. But if you do have enough money, just say that, Emmanuel. Otherwise, I'll offer you some other selections. Jojo's Revenge, good luck on a wildcard this week. So hopefully another green. Jojo's, post your wildcard team. I'm interested to see what you're on. Let's see that starting 11 on that bench. Alexander saying play 2 of Saka, Martinelli, Gross or Mings. So I wouldn't play Mings. I think the floor might be higher, but the ceiling might not be as high. So it's between Gross, Martinelli, and Saka. I think I might play Saka and Martinelli just because they play for in a more attacking position. I just worry about Pascal Gross starting at a more kind of wing back or full back position again. But I can go and check Brighton for you quickly. Because what you could do is you could split the odds there and maybe just go for two different teams. So let's just check. So Gross played at right back. Against Chelsea, he played more as like a CDM. I think I'd still lean towards Martinelli and Saka though. But I mean, if you want to play the odds, you could go for Gross. Not enough, says Emmanuel. Okay. Can you just bench Ake this week? I mean, he has Arsenal at home, not the best fixture in the world. And then maybe next week you can upgrade him as a hit or something like that. Okay, you got me and Henry out. Okay, so you almost have to play Ake. Okay. What you could just do is you could just play Henry if you wanted to. I mean, Chelsea aren't the most attacking side. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. So, Manuel, what I would do is look at the moves you're going to make next week. If you're going to bring in a Salah, you're going to downgrade a Kane, can you then have more funds to upgrade to a Trent? Because I would just bank the transfer then, if I'm honest with you. I'd just play Ben Mee or Henry. How's it, Will? What's the plan today? The plan is to bank the transfer and probably captain only Haaland. I just don't have the courage to go for Watkins. So that's what we're going to be doing. Well, pretty boring game week for myself, so that's why if you guys do have any questions, I can answer as many of them as possible, because I'm not restricted by my own team here. No worries, Tarang. As I've always mentioned, you guys don't have to apologize for being late. If you want me to catch you up on what you've missed, I can catch you up. And just joining the stream is always going to be nice. So, Shamir saying, I have Elisa and Tony in my team instead of Rashford and Watkins. Rest of the team is same as yours. Change or roll the transfer? I would just roll the transfer, to be honest. I don't think Rashford and Watkins is a good fixture, but you probably want to lose them next week anyways. So I would probably just roll with what you have and then hope that Spurs are a little bit better defensively. Saka outscores Fernandes this week if both play surely. Fernandes has been rubbish. So Gary, he has been rubbish in terms of FPL returns, but from a stats point of view, he's actually been probably United's best player. And that's why if he does start, I'm pretty confident on him. Yes, it is Man City away for Saka, and that's probably the reason I am benching him, but I really do like Bruno. I think that he's going to come, a haul's going to come sooner or later. How's it, Genghis? Enjoying the membership? Hopefully you're enjoying that little star next to your name. Bench Grealish to start Isaac, Watkins, and Haaland. Kylo, bench Grealish. Let me look at projected points for you, because that's a tough one. So you're basically saying Grealish versus Isaac. Isaac is playing Everton. Oh, and Newcastle looks strong. Okay, so Isaac. Okay, so Fix has Grealish as a high projected points. Okay, so I would say it's pretty close between them. I honestly don't know who to suggest then. That's almost like 50-50 material. I would almost flip a coin for those two, Kylo. That's a super close one. I wouldn't tune about any selection you make there. I don't know actually, yeah. I think I might lean towards Grealish just because he's a midfielder. But as I said, I wouldn't knock you for going either of them. Start Grealish or March. Thoughts? I'd probably lean towards March, but I think either of them are also good. Marius. That's what's so hard about this game week, and that's what I knew when I came in the stream. People are going to ask me 50-50 calls, and like I can't really give you the correct answer. Bruno over Saka. Why? Saka's on penalties and Bruno's injured. Don't want a Bruno 1 pointer coming on late. So Tony, I just don't think that Bruno will start the game if he's not fit. I don't think he'll come off the bench if he's not fit. That's what I'm saying. So I'm pretty sure that that Bruno will miss out or play, and if he does play, I prefer him over a Saka. Views on Jota. I really like him, Vernon. If you can get him this week, that's 100% fine. But what I am slightly concerned about is potential rotation with the Liverpool lineup. Just because Gakpo came off early, he might be more rested. Maybe Jota gets benched this week. Now with Luis Diaz and Darwin needing minutes, we might see some rotation there, but it's quite hard to call. Start Alex Moreno or Botman. Bench headache galore. I would start Alex Moreno because he's more attacking, Genghis. Also, you playing the odds there. You're kind of saying that if Newcastle lose the clean sheet, it's fine. I could still get one from Aston Villa. But I prefer the attacking threat of Alex Moreno, Genghis. Jacques, hi Davey, hi chat. How's it, Jacques? Hopefully having a good Tuesday. No worries, appreciate the input, y'all. Sorry, Marius, I can't give you anything more than that. I can spin the wheel if you want me to, but yeah. Grealish over March or Matoma. Are they minutes risks after the FA Cup? So Saint, I think that they are minutes risks. I think that I could see them being rested as well. It's just if you think that Grealish is a fine option, and I think that he is. It's just, who are you going to bench him over, Saint? Are you going to bench him over March or Matoma? That's another kind of close call. RM13 has been a legend for 17 months. Absolute madness. Thank you, RM13. Do appreciate it. Are you the longest legend? I'll have to go do some research on that. So let's go over the wildcard draft at your request. Any changes? The thing is, my changes would be dependent on what the Liverpool lineup is tomorrow. Because if Jota's benched, I would definitely have Jota for the future. So let's think here. So what some people have been saying is that maybe dropping dropping McAllister and Robertson and instead going for an Estupinan. And then too many players from Brighton. Okay, no, it's just saying. Okay, and then instead of McAllister, who would be the midfielder? Would we say Grealish? Or would we have to go for someone quite cheap? Because then what I was going to say is instead of going for Greenwood, you could go for Jota. So this would be probably the team I would go for if you don't want to go for triple Brighton and you want to go for another Brighton defender. But if you wanted to go for a 3-4-3 with, instead of Grealish, you now go Jota. Let me just go Diego. Okay, so then you would have to downgrade Grealish to someone super cheap, which it doesn't look that great. So then what I might do is I might just go Botman here. And then I would just go for, how cheap is Andreas? Okay, this is probably what I might just do then. If you want to go for Jota and go for a 3-4-3, this is probably what I would look at. And then what you can do is next week, how many double game week players do you have? Okay, so then you sub, you bench, you probably do that. I mean, you can play Andreas if you want to, but I don't think it's the end of the world. I would go with a 4-4-2 here. Then you just sub out Jota, or you sub out Watkins for Isaac come game week 36. So that's probably what I would look at if you want to go for Jota instead of Robertson. But if you want to kind of leave Jota out of it, you can go for Grealish in the midfield department and then just go for Greenwood here. But I think the Robertson move is probably the one that I would potentially look at, to be honest. So I would say probably no changes unless you do really like Jota more than Robertson. That's what I'd say. Is this your final team? Abdul, this is going to be my final team. Don't really trust the double Liverpool and Man City at that price point, and also Big Mac is playing deep in that draft. Yeah, so that's the thinking that I was saying. So if you want to drop McAllister, Stupinan, and then go for Jota instead of Robertson, I would go for a 3-4-3 formation. And then keep Ollie Watkins this week, and then bench him next week, and then sub him for Isaac come game week 36. What's the plan? Joined late. There's no plan as of yet. The plan is to bank a transfer. No worries, Marco. Thank you for the support and good luck to you too. Ty the Footy Guy has been a member for 14 months. Much appreciated. Thank you for the continued support. And as I've mentioned with Harry, the 1 year anniversary is gone. The honeymoon period's gone. So I must be doing something right for you to stick around. So I always do appreciate that. And I think you might be edging onto a new star, a new coloring of your star. Ole Huggins saying, hi Davey, I have to leave for a quiz tonight and some people from work very soon. Are you banking or making transfers? Ole, I'm banking the transfer. You can switch the stream off right now. The team is probably going to stay the same. Get to your quiz and good luck for it. Hopefully you win. And that don't use all your luck on the quiz. Hopefully you have some luck for game week 33. Can we please have color symmetry in that midfield? Yes, we can. Excellent suggestion. So let me think. This will be Fernandes out, March in. There we go. Pristine. And then actually, let me just go here. There we go. Wait, do we want... Does this look better or do you want the... I think this looks better. This looks better. Okay, so there we have the symmetry. Jacques saying, hi Davey, how are you going to get Mo in next week? Okay, so let me go to the planner. So because you missed the Jacques, the way I'm going to be doing it is probably for Harry Kane next week for Greenwood in. So I'm not going to be going for Isaac yet. I'm going to be waiting a game week. And then I will be bringing in Greenwood for Kane, Saka to Salah as long as Bruno Fernandes is fit, and then I'll take a minus for it either for Trent or Jota, but we'll decide that later on. The Jota move has more of a budget flexibility, whereas with Trent I have 0.1 left, and as people have been mentioning in chat, apparently Henry's going to drop in price and Trent might rise soon. So let me actually check price rises for tonight. Okay, so it looks like Okay, so Saka looks like he's going to go down. Henry looks like he's going to go down, so that's going to affect us quite a bit. How much money do we have on Saka if we transfer him? Okay, so the Saka... Oh, wait. Okay, so the Saka price drop doesn't affect us. The Henry price drop doesn't affect us. And that looks about it. So we might actually survive. We might actually survive price drops tonight. And then we have the Liverpool game anyway. So we might actually be fine with the price drops. Because if Saka and Henry drop in price, it doesn't affect their selling prices for us. So we actually might be a little bit lucky there. Do you prefer Mo or Watkins as a captaincy option? I prefer Watkins as a captaincy option this week. No worries, Jacques. Thanks for dropping by. My wildcard team. So thanks for posting this. Jojo's Revenge, Steele, and Edison. TA, Trips, Lindelof, Shaw, Zuma, Rashi, Grealish, Mo, March, McAllister, Isaac, Jota, Haaland. Okay, that team looks good. Steele to Sanchez next week if needed. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Last one from me. No worries, Carlo, you can post as many questions as you want. To partner Trent and Trippier, should I go Botman or Delot? I would go Botman. I think I would rather prefer that. Do you prefer Kepa or Raya? It depends, user, on who you have in your forward line. If you have Ivan Toney, I would rather go for Raya. But if you don't have Ivan Toney, I would go Kepa. Kepa out of those two is the one I prefer because Chelsea's defensive stats are slightly better. So XG conceded versus XG. XG of both teams is pretty similar. XG conceded of Chelsea is quite a bit better. They're a top 4 defense over the last 6 games at a minimum, which is actually their last 8 games. March, a good captaincy option. I don't like the Brighton assets because of the speculation. Obviously, we have this new Brighton asset that's going to be definitely starting the game, which has been some concern. And Brighton just played 120 minutes on Sunday, so there might be some rotation. Does Sanchez have his starting spot back? In terms of my opinion, I don't think so. I think that Steele will play, but then after that, it's a lottery because I don't think Sanchez had a bad game. Good luck this captain. Haaland captain. Good luck this game week. Davey Christian says Haaland captain. Okay, that's hopefully he does well for us, but I mean, I actually hope he doesn't because if you guys do go differential, I want you guys to gain points. Danny D-Man saying, I'm tempted to do Saka and Kane for Salah and Isaac. So I was kind of in a similar situation, but I decided to roll it for this week and get some information. Henry, Zinni or Shaw, start 1. I would definitely start Fabian Shaw there, Ty the footy guy, and then I would start Henry as my first bench option. You rolling the transfer? Yes, Connor, I am rolling the transfer. Let me go over to Twitter with 8 minutes remaining to the deadline, so please get your teams finalized. Okay, I don't see anything as of yet. Okay, so Madison is expected to start. He's traveled with the squad and expected to start. So if you guys do have Madison or you want a differential punt, I think Madison's a great shot. Leeds are pretty terrible. So that's basically the only news that I've seen over on Twitter is the Madison news. Other than that, it's pretty quiet on the Western Front. I've asked my question for, sorry, Tarang. Same team besides Saka / Martinelli. Would you pick Martinelli over March in your current 11? Same team besides Saka / Martinelli. So just who do you have, Tarang? But I would start March over Martinelli, to be honest. Fernandez and ankle boot I've seen. So Connor, apparently it was precautionary, which is quite hopeful. Watkins effective ownership and Haaland. Yeah, so the thing about Vernon is Haaland's ownership is definitely going to be above 100%. And Watkins might be just above 100%. So that's why he's a little bit more differential, but Haaland's definitely the safer option. I've Martinelli over Saka, do you mean? Is that what you're saying? Then I would still have the same lineup that I have. Just to run, just say that again, and I'll help you with that one. Start Grealish or Rashford? I would go with Rashford. Captain Isaac, very differential, but I don't know if I'd go there. I might go for Watkins rather if you own him. Which differential captain would you pick? Salah, Grealish, Matoma, or Isaac? I'd go Salah out of those 4. What's your differential captain over Haaland and Watkins? Over Haaland and Watkins, it's Salah or Maddison or Isaac. All of those options are fine. I don't know about the Brighton assets with the potential benching after the FA Cup. Adam says I got Haaland and Salah. Thoughts on Captain McAllister? I wouldn't Captain McAllister. I'd Captain Salah if you want to go differential. There have been some concerns about maybe McAllister playing a bit deeper, but if he does start up front, I mean, there's every chance of points, but I just trust Salah a little bit more. Alexander saying Shaw or Henry, whom to bench? If you have Harry Kane, I would bench Shaw. I'd play the odds on that one. Whom to start, Kepa or De Gea? If you don't own Tony, I'd side towards Kepa. Take a hit for Salah and Trent. Mike, it's fine to take a hit. It just depends on who you're taking out. Henry Sports Talk. In terms of sub count, that is in the reverse order almost. But I do appreciate the thanks, Henry. I do appreciate the support. Thanks a lot, brother. Don't you think Salah is going to bang? I think Salah could bang every single game week, but I just think that Kane could equally do well this week. And the main reason for it is that I just want to see what happens next game week in terms of my transfers. But I think Salah is a fine prediction. Title race predictions. Sure, let's actually do that as a poll. I'm going to end the poll now, and let's go for a new poll. City versus Arsenal. Let's go City win, Arsenal win, or a draw. You guys can answer the poll question. What do you think the Man City vs Arsenal game is going to be? What's the end result? Thanks, Tyler. Good luck to you too, brother. Title race predictions. Really want Arsenal to pull this off. They've been amazing. G-Ball, I would prefer Arsenal to win than Man City just because Man City have been a powerhouse. But I think Man City are going to win the league. If I was a betting man, I would put money on Man City to win this game and also win the league. Whom to start, Bruno or Mahrez? I'd start Bruno and then bench Mahrez, and then Mahrez can just come on if Bruno's not fit. Maybe that's the answer. Yeah, I would play Henry then, Alexander. You going Bruno over Saka? Yes, I am. The only reason for that is that I think that if Bruno is fit enough to start, he's not going to come off the bench. He'll start the game. Otherwise, I don't think he's going to feature. Future transfers next week: Salah in for Saka, Kane down for Greenwood, and then either Jota in or Trent in for a hit. Bench 1, Trippier, Botman, Trent, McAllister, Stupinan. I'd bench Botman out of those. You've seen the Bruno Insta story pics? Yes, I have, and that's kind of the reason why I think that he's either going to start the game or he's not going to be in the squad. Salah, Haaland captain. Haaland's the safe option. Salah's the differential. It really depends on where you guys are in the overall rankings and your mini leagues. That's going to decide where you guys fall on that. I'm second in my mini league. Need to make up points. Haaland captain. Yes, so hard to go. Slamming, if you need to make points up in your mini leagues, as long as it's not kind of 5 points or 10 points or 20 points, because you could catch those up with just normal transfers. If it's quite high, a high points difference, then I would go for Watkins captain. A rerun of the 1989 results against Liverpool. Come on, Arsenal. So, Mark, unfortunately, I wasn't born then, so I don't know what happened then. But, I mean, if it was good for Arsenal, but if it was bad for Liverpool, I'm not going to be too fond of it because I do support Liverpool. Any news about Ake? No. Pep Guardiola didn't talk about him at all in the press conference today. Mari is worth starting over Matoma. I think I still prefer Matoma. First in my mini league, but going to captain Isaac. That's absolutely maverick. Hopefully it pays off for you. If Arsenal win the league, their fans will be unbearable. They'll start saying Arteta's as good as Klopp. So the thing about it, though, is I think that Arsenal's squad, I like them slightly more because a few of their other players have been homegrown. But Man City are just too good of a squad, to be honest. Do you think you will get inside the top 50k? Gary, I'm a little bit more pessimistic usually. I don't think so. My goal's top 100k. I think 50k might be a bit too far. And that's just because the chips this season haven't been that great for myself. And I only have myself to blame for that. So yeah, top 100k, I think that'll be a fine finish. Big thanks for all the help and content week on week, brother. Going to become a member next year. Thanks, Adam. I do always appreciate it. Just like by liking the videos, that's support enough. So thank you for that. Start Kepa or Edison. I'm starting Kepa, Marco. So if you want to go against me, that's fine. So that to bother, no worries, Vanna, you're not bothering me. As long as you don't spam the comment like 10 times a minute, which I don't think you can anyways. That's always fine. Time, Kevin, man, you're a bit early there. We still have a minute left. Good luck. Thank you, Thomas. Bench Grealish or McAllister. Bench probably Grealish, chill. Hello from cold Norway, benching Grealish. I've Salamatoma. Would you do the same? Yes, James, I would do the same. And hopefully Norway heats up a bit. But deadline has gone. Hello, GG, on point there. Good luck. Emmanuel, thanks for the comments and the questions. Hopefully I'll answer them as best as possible. But yeah, guys, unfortunately the deadline has gone. I'm going to run off quite quickly because I am playing a footy game tonight. So wish me luck for that footy game. We're probably going to lose, but hopefully not. And I'll see you guys for more content coming up after Game Week 33. Probably Game Week 34's content will come about Wednesday, Thursday. And then I don't think I'll be doing a deadline stream for Game Week 30 as I will be in Namibia. But I might be doing a Twitter space, or maybe I'll stream if the internet is good enough there. So thanks for joining me on a Tuesday. Hopefully the rest of your guys' week is going to be absolutely splendid. And we're going to end Game Week 33 with a lovely green arrow. But I'm going to sign off. To Davey FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.